the illusion of choice. To paraphrase Neil deGrasse Tyson in Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey, we believe we are free. We often make independent decisions, from the clothes we wear to the careers we pursue. But how much of our behavior is our own and how much is shaped by unseen influences? This is the paradox of conditioning. We are molded by our environment and shaped by our experiences and expectations. So are we truly free, or are we merely following a script written by someone else? The wilderness within. Can we escape our programming? Can we escape this web of influence by distancing ourselves from society? Living off the grid and rejecting societal norms may seem like true freedom, but even this is an illusion. We carry our conditioning within us, embedded in our thoughts and emotions. Additionally, nature is an unforgiving teacher where survival demands conformity to its laws. We rely on the natural world for sustenance and are vulnerable to unpredictability. Achieving true freedom requires more than physical isolation. It necessitates breaking free from the constraints of our minds. Are we truly free? We often think we are the masters of our destiny, shaping our lives through our choices and dreams. But how much of this perceived freedom is genuinely ours? What if forces beyond our conscious awareness subtly influence our thoughts, desires, and actions? This leads to a profound contradiction, the idea that we can be conditioned to be free. However, true freedom, by definition, implies the absence of external manipulation. Yet, from birth we are subjected to various forms of conditioning that shape our worldview and self-perception. The difference between impulse and true freedom. There is a critical distinction between being free, which refers to acting on any impulse, and freedom, a social concept that requires making reasonable choices to maximize opportunities for everyone. While a person may have the freedom to act on the impulse to use fentanyl, such actions ultimately limit future options. If this behavior becomes widespread, it diminishes the overall freedom of society. Therefore, true freedom involves conditioning ourselves to resist harmful impulses that could negatively affect our long-term decisions and societal well-being. Doing so protects and strengthens freedom for both ourselves and the community. Conditioning and its impact on freedom. At its core, conditioning undermines true freedom. It creates automatic responses to stimuli, bypassing our conscious decision-making processes. This manipulation can be subtle, like the persuasive power of advertising, or overt, like indoctrination in totalitarian regimes. Regardless of the method, the outcome is the same, reducing our ability to act autonomously. We become products of our conditioning, our behavior shaped by external forces rather than internal convictions. This raises a fundamental question. Can we genuinely claim free will if factors beyond our control predetermine our choices? The science of conditioning. Psychology offers compelling evidence of conditioning's profound impact on human behavior. Ivan Pavlov's dogs salivated at the sound of a bell, conditioned to associate it with food. B.F. Skinner's rats learned to press levers for rewards, demonstrating the power of reinforcement. Martin Seligman's experiments revealed how helplessness can be learned. These studies show how external stimuli shape our responses, often unconsciously. Our preferences, fears, and desires may be more influenced than we realize. These mechanisms extend beyond animals. Advertising uses similar tactics to associate products with positive emotions. At the same time, political campaigns manipulate fear and anger to influence voting behavior. We are bombarded with messages designed to elicit specific responses, shaping our choices as consumers and citizens. Conditioning in modern society. In contemporary society, conditioning mechanisms are deeply woven into our institutions. These mechanisms, though subtle, are powerful, influencing our thoughts, behaviors, and even beliefs without our awareness. The media, often called the Fourth Estate, wields significant power in shaping public opinion. It serves as a gatekeeper of information, determining what is newsworthy and what is not. The media influences our perceptions of events, individuals, and entire groups through selective reporting, biased framing, and narrative repetition. This constant exposure to curated content can shape our worldview, often without us realizing it. Education systems designed to enlighten can also instill specific values, beliefs, and ideologies. The curriculum frequently reflects the dominant cultural and political paradigms of the time. From a young age, we are exposed to curricula that shape our understanding of history, society, and ourselves, with lasting effects that influence our perspectives and beliefs well into adulthood. Religious institutions emphasizing dogma and tradition also play a significant role in conditioning. They provide a sense of community and belonging which can powerfully motivate adherence to their teachings. These institutions offer moral frameworks, social norms, and often unquestionable truths that guide the thoughts and actions of their followers. Consequently, they shape individual behavior, societal norms and values, reinforcing the status quo and resisting change. The role of conditioning in society, a case study. Is conditioning consistently negative? Consider a scenario across America, children laughing and energized, ready for the afternoon. Across the street, a seemingly non-threatening man sits in a car offering a friendly smile. However, hidden away from casual glances are small packets containing a deadly substance, fentanyl. He's selling death disguised as an escape, just a stone's throw from where futures are being shaped. This tragic scene is all too real, occurring regularly across the country. We tell our children to stay in school, get good grades, and make intelligent choices. But what happens when their options aren't simply right and wrong, but between instant gratification and a future they can barely imagine? What happens when the fleeting allure of escape outweighs years of careful instruction and parental guidance? Reframing conditioning. This is where the concept of conditioning, often viewed with skepticism or disdain, takes a different light. We condition our children in countless ways, from teaching them to look both ways before crossing the street to instilling respect for education and hard work. These forms of conditioning aren't seen as infringements on their freedom, but as essential tools for navigating life's complexities and maximizing their potential. So why should we shy away from conditioning them to avoid harmful substances? Anti-drug education, delivered in an engaging and age-appropriate manner, can serve as a safeguard against the lure of drugs. By providing children with the tools to resist peer pressure, understand the real-life consequences of drug use, and develop healthy coping mechanisms for stress and anxiety, we aren't limiting their freedom, we're empowering them to make choices that preserve their future autonomy. Lessons from history. Let's talk about what we don't want. Nazi Germany. Not exactly a light topic, but stick with me. Adolf Hitler took control to a new extreme. Under his rule, freedom wasn't just restricted, it was obliterated. The speech was censored, the press was muzzled, and dissent was crushed. The individual was nothing, the state was everything. While not every society that values order is destined to become Nazi Germany, this horrific chapter illustrates the dangers of authoritarianism. The results are catastrophic when the state holds all the power and individual rights are trampled upon. The Holocaust, the systematic murder of millions, serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. It demonstrates that when freedom is extinguished, humanity is at risk. A modern parallel. Now, let's fast forward to modern-day San Francisco, a city known for its progressive values and relaxed attitude. However, even in this vibrant city, the limits of unchecked freedom are becoming increasingly apparent. San Francisco faces a homelessness crisis of epic proportions, with rampant drug use and some public spaces turning into open-air drug markets. I'm not suggesting rounding up homeless people or locking up anyone who's ever smoked a joint. That's not the answer. But there's a growing sense that the pendulum has swung too far in the other direction, where the pursuit of individual freedom has come at the expense of the common good. The situation in San Francisco highlights a crucial point. Freedom without responsibility leads to chaos. When there are no consequences for our actions, when we prioritize the right to act on any impulses above all else, we risk eroding the very fabric of society. Balancing freedom and responsibility, a delicate dance. So how do we find the balance between freedom and order? It starts by recognizing that freedom is not a zero-sum game. As the saying goes, your freedom to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. We must acknowledge that we're all in this together, that our freedoms come with responsibilities to our communities. We must have open and honest conversations about where to draw the line between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. And we must be willing to compromise, understanding that we won't always get our way. It's a delicate dance, balancing freedom and order. Still, it's a dance we must learn to create accessible and just societies. Balancing freedom and responsibility in society. Finding the right balance between freedom and order is often seen as a delicate dance. It starts with recognizing that freedom isn't a zero-sum game. Our liberties must be weighed against our responsibilities to others. Open and honest discussions are needed to define the boundaries of acceptable behavior, and a willingness to compromise is essential, understanding that we won't always get our way. This balancing act is crucial for creating free and just societies. True freedom requires a careful balance between individual liberty and societal responsibility, illustrating how conditioning, whether through positive influences like anti-drug education or negative ones, can shape autonomy and long-term freedom. By reflecting on historical examples such as Nazi Germany and modern-day San Francisco, the video underscores the importance of maintaining balance to foster a society that maximizes freedom while avoiding harmful impulses.